Hello, everybody. Welcome to today's very special webinar, Tech Insights, Managing Your Fleet with Ease. I'm going to introduce our CEO and President. Actually, I usually say President and CEO, Antonio Civitella, and Zach Moren, who is our Manager of Solutions, Enablement, and Engineering. Hand over to you guys. Hey, we got a great webinar. It'll be worth every minute. Take it away, guys.
All right. Good morning. Can you hear me all right?
We hear you great, Tony.
Awesome. Well, I'm so excited about this. It's almost a year that we released this new product, Servicefinder. And, we were just talking about this yesterday, and I think actually appropriate just to do a quick little intro about what we just did. And Rick, you actually reminded me about a product, about this show that used to be on several years ago. It was about the house makeover. Well, you said it best. There was no makeover. They didn't go over there and fix some exterior walls or maybe put some new windows. There was no makeover. They literally knocked it completely down and erected a brand new house. Do you guys remember that? It took about maybe about a week to go from nothing, from a foundation to everything, furniture. And then remember at the end what they used to say, move that bus and the bus would move and you'd see the house. Why am I making such a big deal about this? Because that's what we did with this version of Servicefinder. We want to make sure that it meets the needs of everybody. We're trying to go across the board with this product. So we're excited. Zach has got a great presentation ready for everybody. Please give us questions and comments, all those things. So Zach, let's move that bus.
Let's do it. Now we're excited to talk more about Servicefinder, make sure the industry knows, what you're able to do. We understand people are excited to come, right? I mean, the number of people registered to see this webinar really tells us what a big need there is for good solution for this in the industry. Whether you're coming from another platform, whether you're using our legacy software, or maybe you have nothing at all, right? We want to show how Servicefinder is going to really fit into your operation. And we do think that we built a platform that is made to really fit with any operation. I talk to people all the time that say, I need it simple. I need technicians to be able to get in. I don't need all the bells and whistles. Give me something that's quick and easy to update. Well, we can customize our platform to fit that for you. And I talk to other districts that say, I need everything. I'm invoicing out. I'm, paying bills, I'm managing all these different pieces. I need my work orders, I need my equipment, I need all of these different pieces, and I want to be able to see all my data and things like that. Servicefinder can really meet those needs as well. So we'll kind of go through, hopefully give a deeper dive than we have in some of our previous webinar to some of the features, functionality. Quick high-level overview of what we're hoping to cover on this this webinar here. We want to talk about some pieces for maintaining your records. One piece we're really excited to talk about, Tony, is the mobile inspections. So we are going to be talking about how you can do mobile inspections with the tool now. And what that means is your driver can submit an inspection that comes right into your operation, and what's that workflow look like a little bit. We're also going to be talking about preventative maintenance. Obviously, a big key one, can save operations so much money. Managing your inventory and parts. And we'll talk about some of the outputs as well, dashboards, reports. And one piece we're excited to talk about, obviously, is managing equipment other than just your fleet, too. What other assets can you use this tool for here? Give me just a second here. I'm going to pause my sharing just as my slideshow is struggling here a little bit to show. So let me reshare and make sure everybody can see my screen.
And also, Rick, if you're on, just want to tell you, I don't see the questions if someone's popping questions up on this interface. So looks like I'm just a regular attendee, which is okay. I could be a regular attendee, but I want to be able to help answer questions. So if you guys could do that, change those.
There we go. So that's our overview. Hopefully you're seeing the screen now, what we plan to cover. One feature, Tony, that I know we're really excited to talk about is the mobile support. I hear this all the time from technicians. They say, look, I don't want to go back to a computer terminal. I don't want to roll something out. I've got a mobile device, a tablet, a phone even right there. and I'd love to just be able to update my work on the go, or I'd love to be able to scan in the parts that I'm using. So the mobile interface is something that we definitely want to highlight.
Absolutely. Well, it's because I mean, it's an old story, right? About you're being tethered to a desk. And I think some of our clients got creative with a rolling table. Now, of course, laptops, you don't need to have you can last on a battery. The old-fashioned handheld scanners with the barcode or now QR codes. Those are great, but it's a computer and you can't just really put up your laptop up to something. So mobile is just the way to go, whether it's going to be for, and finally, yes, you can now, with this new version, you can be able to do all those defects with a mobile device, because you're not going to really necessarily have a computer. I mean, think about yourselves. I probably respond emails more just as much as my computer than my phone, and so my phone has become an extension of me. I try to minimize social media. That's what I tell you, but there's so much there, and I'm able to do my job better. So yeah, that was a big one, and we struggled with that in the older version for sure.
Tony, I'm seeing a few questions in here about pricing and licensing, and I know what we would love to do is have one-on-one conversations, but worth calling out here, question about, is there charge separately for mobile? One thing that's key as you're looking at this platform is Servicefinder is really an all-inclusive platform. We do not add these kind of features on as piecemeal. If you're investing in Servicefinder, what we're showing you today is all included as part of that package, and that'll include all of the reports and dashboards. We talk about this mobile support, the interface for drivers, all of these different pieces, right?
Good. Yeah. By the way, I'm also seeing the questions. Whatever you guys did on your side there, I could see questions. So yes.
We're in good shape. So again, that's what we want to spend today talking about. I think probably worth digging into it. One thing that I wanted to start with though is just driving, how much technology can impact an operation. Tony, I was out at some conferences last year and asking people, how do they manage things today? And I was shocked by how few school districts today are using software to manage this. I would talk to them about, what do you do with your maintenance records, your work order history? And, I had a pretty consistent answer, right? They had one of these guys, they had filing cabinets to put that away in. I said, what about inspections? How's that come in? It comes in as paperwork that we file away. All your warranties that you manage, your parts and usage, accident reports. What does this look like? And I'm just picturing these garages that are so cluttered. How do you manage a day-to-day operation? How do you understand where your money's going, what work you've done? You've got to spend your entire day digging through one of these things to really understand what it looks like. You know what I mean?
That's a lot of cabinets, by the way. Holy cow, that's a lot of steel. I guess if there's an issue, they're going to be somewhat protected, I guess. I guess the value of those, but obviously, I know you're trying to make a point that all of our data is up on the cloud. It's all there. Something happens, it's all being stored. You don't have to worry about which drawer to open. By the way, I do like drawers. I'm a big old-fashioned fan. You come to our office here in Schenectady, our headquarters, and part of our tour, we have a lot of sophisticated software, but I still like the old-fashioned drawers. So when I ever do a tour and I show all of our 2,500 clients that we have them, and all you guys, by the way, there's a nice hanging folder. Some of you have a really thick one because it's been there for many years, everything you've purchased, all the conversations. So some of them are like really thick, but they look beautiful, they are organized, but we don't have access to that every single moment. We look up all the data, especially all the calls we get in, who called, how we serviced you guys, how long it took to answer that call. We have all that data. So I'm trying to be, we definitely have filing cabinets here too, but they're more for show. They're more to show that we still have filing cabinets, but there's no filing cabinets big enough to keep all that information that we have, everything about all of you, everything from some of your, over 30 plus years that we've been with us. So that's a lot of records. So Good. I love that. I love that image though.
You got it, right? So now we're moving from everything's digging through the filing cabinet. With Servicefinder, obviously it's all right there. A click away, I can click on any vehicle and see digitally all of that history. But I won't lie, Tony, I talked to plenty of customers that tell me, well, I can still print that out, right? I still want that physical backup. So
I'm telling you, there's something about that just to still have that. I know it seems silly. I get it. And some people, when I tell them like, I got to show you some filing cabinets, they look at me funny, like, what are you talking about? You guys are a software technology company. You have filing cabinets? Yeah, we do. And but it's more for show, and it's actually great conversations.
Tony, this is a good one I'm seeing in the questions list. This is available on Chrome now, right? That must be one of our old legacy users.
Ooh,
Servicefinder, again,
yes.
built from the ground up. This is available on any modern web browser. So, Chrome, Firefox, again, pull it up on your phone. I'm an iPhone user, so it runs great on Safari on my phone or tablet there even. So yeah, any modern browser, you're going to be able to run this platform from.
Definitely, that was another, we were using a great, cool technology from the past. It was called Silverlight by Microsoft. Well, Microsoft decided to discontinue that platform, and of course, we invested so heavily in that platform, so we're a little bit stuck. But we now are unstuck, and we are able to do a lot more.
It's really key before you start getting into it, talking about how Servicefinder integrates with the rest of your operation as well. So, we work with a lot of districts that are using other tools in their fleet, right? They've got telematics going, they've got fuel systems, fuel cards that they're tying into. They may even have a vehicle inspection, something like an EVER that their bus drivers are doing. Servicefinder is really meant to be the core of your operation, right? We tie into these other systems. We can pull all of that information, fuel, inspections, those kind of pieces into our platform so that everything kind of lives in one place. And I know question there about, does it integrate in with the rest of our platform? We can easily pull information like your vehicles and staff from the rest of our platform as well for those Route Finder Plus users and things like that too. So we can grab that data and make sure Servicefinder is up to date. It has all that information in one place.
There's also a great question about, and I'm sure you're going to get to it, so I don't need to answer it right now, but there's a great question regarding the schedule formatting and column view. So maybe I'll hold that for you until you get to that section. That way that makes more sense when you talk about the calendar view.
I saw that too. Yeah, definitely touch on that with our scheduler. So let's jump into, one of the features that I'm really excited about. Now, Tony, we got to stress this is a feature that we're rolling out shortly here for Servicefinder. So I want to make sure anyone that's on our platform today is looking saying, where's this? But it's going to be that inspection workflow, right? This is something that's so important for tying what your bus drivers are doing into what's happening in the garage. And so with Servicefinder, we're creating a workflow that allows a driver to go ahead and submit their vehicle inspection. This is going to be a mobile inspection they could do from a phone or a tablet. I know we're working with lots of districts across the country, putting tablets on buses there for things like, navigation and student tracking. Well, now you're going to be doing your pre-post trip inspection right there as well. Those reports tie right into Servicefinder, so a fleet manager can see and schedule that work. The technician completes the repairs, and the driver can confirm the issue's resolved on their next inspection, and you're back out on the road. So we want to show what that looks like, kind of show live videos here of how a driver can kind of fill that out. It really starts with that pre-post trip inspection, and we hope drivers are doing these pre-post trip inspections every day. A lot of them are still doing it on paper, things like that. But digitizing this process is going to be so much easier. And Tony, when we think about trying to convince drivers to utilize technology, we're always thinking about how do we make their lives a little bit better, right? The idea of a tablet or a phone that they could simply put their inspection in, hit submit, they're not having to worry about write everything out, taking pictures, sending those pictures somewhere. It's all right there on their device. They hit submit and they're really done with that process. We even share QR code here.
Let me give you an example, because clearly our clients that had the older version of Servicefinder, they had an area called driver portal, which obviously, as you now know, because of the technology got discontinued, we did our best to maintain it, just really maintain it, but we didn't want to add any features, functionality, because we knew that was going to be a technology to have to address eventually. But the driver portal really that was not our vision. It was really the scratching of the surface. When we came out with Form Finder a few years ago, and I know many of you are using it for so much, it's like that is going to be the new way to do everything. And so our Form Finder technology has evolved with a QR code or with really anything. You could even get those little RFID or NFC chips that you could just tap on it and it brings up a form. So really, there's so much you could go now with this technology. So with that technology that we created, is not only did it replace the whole driver portal, but it's unlimited functionality at this point. It's not just here's a single defect, here's a vehicle, and here's a odometer reading, which, by the way, Zach, was state of the art 10 years ago. Like, people were like, ooh, that's great. But man, you want to do more than just 3 things at a time.
That's it, right? So you can see real workflows built into this. The idea that as a driver hits fail, it may request additional information, notes, they may need to upload an image of the problem, or if the defect is severe enough, the form can simply tell them, hey, go ahead and notify fleet maintenance and go look for a sub vehicle today, right? If I've got an engine failure, there's no chance you're taking this vehicle out on the road, right? So that form can be submitted there by drivers. Again, that ties right into our platform for fleet maintenance. So the idea is, as soon as my driver submitted the form, that defect is reported and shows up for my technicians there that can simply click and drag it to create a work order.
Oh, speaking of that, I gotta interrupt you because it looks like you just answered regarding using forms for electronic time logs. Yeah, so you see it went beyond just here's that single defect, here's odometer reading, here's the date, time of that vehicle. That technology could be customized to anything, including tracking time. It's almost like you could clock in, clock out. Get very creative with that. So, and all that is part of the system. It's all part of the system.
That's it. This click and drag functionality, we've heard such positive feedback. It's so intuitive and easy to use. If I log into the day, I look at my schedule, I can see, hey, what defects have been reported by drivers, what preventative maintenance do I have upcoming, and I can simply click and add that to my schedule where I have availability. So again, technicians would see defects here on their schedule, just like they would see a normal, hey, 3,000 mile preventative maintenance is coming up. You can log in and kind of see all that in one place. Now, once they've actually created that work order, that's where it goes out to your technician, right? The technicians there working on the vehicle, they can simply update that work order right from their mobile device, right? Whether it's a phone, tablet, they can update to say, hey, how many parts were used? How long did I spend on this? And this mobile support is really key for us for updating things like inventory as well. So you can imagine my mechanic is grabbing a couple of pieces out of my inventory box in the back to go work in a vehicle. They can simply take that phone or tablet, scan a QR code or a barcode, and grab what parts they're taking out and how many they're doing, right? So this is really, really efficient, powerful tools that we have for techs.
I got some question about it there. If you're interested in looking at what this product, a lot more detail. Obviously, there's no way to go into that kind of detail today. We'll make sure we'll have your account manager reach out to you, and so that way you can go more into details. There's going to be a lot of questions because Zach is just really just doing a very high level introduction, really, to many with this product.
That's wrapping that workflow up, right? From the driver submitting the issue, scheduling it, technicians updating it, your vehicle's ready to go out on the road. Again, this is a workflow that we've heard so many challenges from. When I ask a lot of districts what they're doing today to get from a driver reporting a defect to getting it scheduled and worked on, A lot of the time I hear the driver comes in and just tells somebody. And if that person doesn't remember or write it down, the driver comes back in again and again, and there's no way to really manage what requests have come in, what's the status of things. So this is a much more efficient process there as far as digitizing all of it.
Someone's getting keep download Silverlight. It sounds like they're still using the legacy system. You should be getting a download Silverlight. I'm not sure why. If you're already upgraded to the new version, you shouldn't be getting that message. So I wonder if your URL has been changed perhaps. So we'll dig in. We got your message. We'll reach out to you, see what's going on with that. All right.
Yeah, have to follow up with Scott for sure. Let's talk about a few of the other high-level features that we're seeing people are really excited about. We've talked about it a little bit already, but just the vehicle history, right? Having all of that information in one place. And when we talk about vehicle history, talking about all the inspections, right? I should be able to log into every vehicle and see my pre and post trip inspection done by my drivers. All of my repairs and defects that have been reported. Fuel history. This is such an important one, Tony, right? People, also want to keep track of what kind of fuel usage has this vehicle have? I'm supposed to be getting 15 miles to a gallon. Why am I refueling every day? What's my fuel history and usage look like for this vehicle? All of that is right there on the vehicle record. You can look at it at a glance, the work orders that are associated with it. And what that means is you can get a lot more information and data out of the platform, right? So because all of that information's right there, I can take a look and see which vehicles are using too much gas, which ones are getting better efficiency, which of my vehicles are costing me more per mile than the rest. That's a big question fleet managers always want to be able to answer, because when they're ready to invest in a new bus, I've heard from so many, it's not my oldest vehicle I want to phase out, it's my clunker, it's my one that's costing me the most. But how easily can you identify that in your fleet today, right?
Some great questions, because there's a lot of data that it needs to be inputted into this new Servicefinder, and really even the legacy one. So is there a better way to get data into our system, especially integration with the Zonar Ever? For sure, if you already have that, we'll continue supporting that. Of course, we want to get as many of the companies and hardware out there that's integrating, it's pulling engine and vehicle diagnostic. We want to pull that information and create really these incidents or these defects right from that information. So we want to streamline it, because we know that there could be overwhelming amount of data that needs to be maintained if you're doing it all 100% manual and you have a large operation. Well, let's talk it through with you one-on-one and see how you could automate some of those things, because that creates a much higher usage of this technology if you have some automation.
Sorry. No, good call out there from Zonar Ever. Zonar's a great partner we worked with for a long time. Our legacy Servicefinder worked with the original Ever, the wand with the tabs, and our new platform continues to work with them even as they move to more mobile tools for Ever as well. We wanted to talk about our scheduler tool here, and this is where it's worth kind of digging in a little bit more. Tony, the idea of being able to schedule your work is more than just, hey, let me add it to the calendar, right? This is going to allow fleets to really plan out, what does my week look like? What do I have upcoming? But it also helps balance some other pieces. You and I were talking about, I've got a technician, that can drive a bus. Do I have them go fill in as a sub driver? Well, I may have to look at my schedule. Are they working on something really big? Are they doing a transmission repair today that only they're certified to be able to do? Well, I can look at my schedule and see that at a glance, no, there's no way I can let them go run a sub route today, because I got to get that vehicle turned around.
Absolutely. And Zach, it's something that our clients know about it, and we don't really, so we definitely have empathy with you on the driver shortage. We get it, we understand. And so we're most of our clients are really relying on us on creating some great routing algorithm and some great tools to consolidate some trips at that moment in time, maybe just for this morning, or have a driver double up and so forth. So we got some great things that already released, and some new things are that we're about to release also before summer. So I think stay tuned for that. But we also can't forget you have these technicians inside the garage that you may just say, Tony, stop doing whatever you're doing on that vehicle. I need you to drive today. And it happens all the time. But we have to, we have a be knowledge of what is Tony mechanic was supposed to do, because if they're working on a couple vehicles that currently are out of service and we don't get them fixed, well, tomorrow not only going to be short on drivers, you're also going to be short in vehicles. So that is a massive, really almost like an oversight. If companies you work with don't have a fleet maintenance product like we do, they might not even think about it. They just think, oh, it's just a driver shortage. Let's figure out how to get more, routing efficiency. But we can't forget about what's going on in it, because those are your staff, and so many of you are just looking at your watch saying, all right, I got to get going here because I have to actually get on a bus this afternoon because I'm short. And obviously everyone's chipping in. I know that. So this is a massive feature that, again, if you're working with if the routing company doesn't have a fleet maintenance product as an add-on, they're not a full solution. They don't know all those aspects.
Well, Tony, this is a good place for us to maybe pause and jump right into the platform, because I know there's some other questions that were a little bit more detailed and maybe a good chance for us to answer them, right? So as I'm working with my scheduler, of course, I could see my upcoming services, which is going to include regular preventative maintenance, but it's also going to include those defects that we get reported, whether it's from Ever or whether it's from our built-in reporting tool. Again, any of these I can click and drag. This tool we found to be so effective too, because what we hear all the time is, I've got bus rolling in because there's a headlight issue. What we don't want is we don't want to recall the vehicle, right? We come in, we fix the headlight issue, it goes out. Tomorrow I realize, it's due for its inspection, right? With this, I can easily look at, see what's coming up for it. Can I take care of it all at once when the vehicle's in the shop? But the question we got is, what about my technicians? I not only need to manage my work and the services, but I want to be able to see my technicians as well, right? And if I've got a technician that may be out or unavailable, right? I may need to add a restriction to say, hey, they're going to be driving a bus for today, right? We're short drivers, and I may need to add a substitution for that driver. Now that driver's on my calendar, Harry is unavailable, and I can see the work that we had assigned to him is now a conflict. I gotta maybe look at, go ahead and clicking on him and substituting. Do I have somebody else?
Some of the restrictions, so some of the other, so these are really, this is the part that without having a routing and a fleet maintenance, that it's the same company. Now at this point, we want to make sure that this mechanic, you could create a restriction saying they can't drive either. We don't want them to drive. There's something else going on. So maybe for some other reasons they can't drive. Well, we want to make sure that, because we know that mechanics are part of your driving resources, and so manage that even in Servicefinder on which driver is available. Because maybe tomorrow you have a driver shortage, but you have 3 mechanics that are okay to drive tomorrow. So good, you've already got that figured out for tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly right. And hopefully anyone on the call here that's worked with our routing platform before, knows how we allow you to manage that with a resource scheduler. You can daily see, what trips, what vehicles, what drivers. But yeah, just as important that we're managing that on the service side as well, right? All right, from there we'll maybe jump back into what we were talking about. We were talking about the scheduling tool, some of the functions it allows us to do there. Really important too is this concept of preventative maintenance. We talked around it a little bit, but the scheduled service and repairs that you can do in Servicefinder here make the work so much more convenient and easy. I ask all the time technicians, all right, I'm sure you must have some way to manage it, a big calendar, a whiteboard in the office. How often do you miss a service due date? Happens all the time, especially worst case scenarios I hear some districts relying on the bus driver. They're supposed to remember to bring it in. definitely going to miss some service repairs there, right? With Servicefinder, you can set up scheduled service. You can get notified days in advance, and then you can set it to remind me automatically based on the last service due date that we had. And what that means is, you know, a week before, hey, here's the list of vehicles that are coming up for their 3,000 mile service. I know what's due. And we make things even easier by allowing you to set up what work is expected to be done. Every 3,000 miles, what should your technicians be checking? What should they be repairing? About how long should this be taking? What that means is when I create the work order, all of that information is done for me, right? Gone are the days of a technician handwriting or hand typing things in. I try to go back and read it after the fact and looks like I'm reading a foreign language. There's no way to be able to manage your work that way, to say, well, how many of X's have we done this year? Or when were the brakes last checked? If I'm trying to go back and read hand typed or handwritten information. So with our services, again, you build out the service, you build out all the work that needs to get done, and they simply click and drag it in to say, yep, this is what I'm doing.
I've heard multiple times about how, you know, my mechanics don't really have time to enter this information. You know, their hands, you know, they're too greasy. They can't enter information on a keyboard. And so, I mean, it's possible, right? You're also have a limited number of mechanics, and some of you have actually got creative and actually they could just still use a piece of paper, and that piece of paper gets transferred into our system. So that still is an option, and that does work.
That's right. That's right. We hear that all the time with parts management, work order management. No, I'm not going to rely on them to do it. They'll handwrite it like they always have. You know, that way they can spend more time turning a wrench, and we might bring it into my central office to type this all in. Servicefinder is really built to be flexible. However your operation is working today, that's what we want to kind of build our platform around to manage. All right, moving from repairs, parts and inventory.
Good question about emails from Servicefinder to drivers to remind them about, you know, about their bus and all that. There's just so much you can do now with reports and with our mail merge. I don't know if any of you are using mail merge and plus cool things that you can literally just send out scheduled emails going out to parents, very specific, unique to their information. There's so much you could do with this new product. It's a good question right there.
Yep. So, you know, Servicefinder does allow you to add your staff and your drivers, not just technicians. You can keep emails on file, and scheduled reports does allow you to be able to set up a lot of automated reminders or notifications.
And you could also do it, of course, with in plus about their schedule. So if you want to do that stuff, this is more about what's going on, that their bus is going to get serviced, right? All those things. So keep everybody informed.
So Tony, when it comes to parts and inventory, I ask every, you know, fleet department I talk with, every technician, what's it look like today? Usually the answer is it's on my to-do list. We need to do it. We don't do it today. And I think the answer is because they don't have an easy and intuitive way to manage their inventory today, right? And so that's why there's such a big need for a tool like this. We talked about it earlier, but, you know, imagining every time I go to grab parts as a technician, I simply grab my phone, grab my tablet, and I scan those parts out. Well, now you can imagine that my inventory is going to start becoming a lot more accurate, right? The information that we're putting in there. So parts and inventory, we allow you to manage this. Like I said, whether you have technicians actually updating their work orders and what parts they're using live, or maybe they just hand a parts and inventory manager a sheet at the end of the day, and they go and they plug in what parts were used today and all the work orders. You can manage it either way, whether it's mobile, whether it's in the platform. We make it very, very easy to assign your parts to work orders, to manage your parts as you get new shipments in, and add that inventory, add the costs. So all of your pricing and everything is staying accurate and up to date. There's a lot of powerful tools that we put in here too that people have been really excited about. Things like part substitution, right? Maybe I've got 2 different parts from 2 different manufacturers, but they're interchangeable. I can use either of them on the same vehicle. Well, if I'm out of one part, I don't want to go and reorder another box of it if I've got a box of a substitute part that I could swap in there. So the platform will actually notify you and let you know about key stuff like that, keep you from double ordering. I was talking with some users the other day about how they manage inventory. Really, really interesting. Say maybe get rid of your last vehicle from a specific manufacturer. Well, let me see at a glance, how many parts do I have just for that type of bus? I can pull a list of our system, say this is how many parts, this is what parts you have. Maybe I take that and I put it up on a list for auction to say, hey, these are parts that we're selling now. Can pull that in 2 clicks right out of our system there. Really, really powerful. Once you start managing parts and inventory, you'll realize how much cost is going into some of this stuff and how much opportunity you have.
Great question. I want to just reemphasize about tracking mileages and engine hours. Definitely, it's fundamental to our products, and really in order to know when certain services are due. A lot of them are date specific or days, but also there's mileages and hours. Obviously, it's time. So there's tons of different meters that you could track. As I mentioned, there are a lot of systems out there that you could plug in to your onboard diagnostic port, and that data could feed into our system. That way it's automatic. You don't have to actually type that in. But there's obviously expenses to that. Maybe some of you already have it. If not, you just let your mechanic or your drivers enter that data in. And I know many of you have a fueling system that in order to fuel, you have to put in your odometer reading. Well, all that also could come in. From using your fuel system, that data could just then be brought into our system. That way we have an up-to-date odometer reading since last time it was fueled.
I know we've got a few Canadian clients, at least in the questions, I'm sure, on the call with us today. So metric support is a good question, right? So we've added metric support for Servicefinder, Route Finder Plus 2. I know Susan's one I worked with way back before we had metric in there. So Canadian clients, can utilize Servicefinder just as well.
And the barcodes and all that, those are definitely great. Those are a great use case for using barcodes or QR codes, whatever makes sense for you. And that's a great use case to use a mobile device, whether it's a tablet or a larger phone, so you could go around and actually you receive your inventory, you could audit your inventory, all that is with that. This is where barcodes are still heavily used, and we know it. And many of you already have that, so why disrupt that? Keep using the same barcode system.
Question here on integrating with fuel systems, right? So we should be able to work with most any fuel system today on the market to be able to input that.
Yep. I just answered that one too. Good.
The questions are coming in fast. Hopefully we're touching on everything people want to see. Obviously, last time we did a webinar like this, Tony, I'll be honest, I had a surge of requests for demos because they said we didn't touch on the thing they wanted to hear. That's okay. If we didn't hit it all, we'd love to talk to you one-on-one, right?
Well, it's going to be even more now because of just how many more features and functionality we've added. And so we're going to continue adding more and more to this product. We got some great feedback. Our first goal is to make sure to have all the feature that our other system had. That's been always our goal, just like we did with our routing. We're not going to have our routing system, our new system, have less feature than our legacy system. Many of you were extremely patient with us with our Route Finder Plus, saying, man, when are you going to come out with that thing? Your competitors already have a browser version. But as I mentioned to all of you, if you talk to me, like, we're not going to release a watered down version. We're going to release it when it's at least at the level you already have. Well, we did the same thing with this product, but now we're just adding so much more. So if you bought to buy it, by the way, I heard we brought in some new clients a couple of weeks ago, and they spoke to I think it's Frank. Zach, I think you'll make a laugh. It's like, wow, I just became a client. I'm already getting tons of emails from you guys. Like, yeah, you're gonna keep getting them, so get used to them. Put them in a special place inside your inbox. It's true. We send you guys a lot of emails. Some are great to you. Some, all right, they may not apply to you. So you can just press the delete key. It's okay. But yeah, that's how we communicate with all of you. We can't call all of you in the same day. We send a lot of emails, but please feel free to call us, email us, mail us. I mean, we still get mail here at the office, by the way.
Well, Tony, the next piece that we wanted to talk about, I know, is a piece that we really feel sets Servicefinder up from a lot of products in the industry, definitely sets it apart from what our legacy platform can do. That's really going beyond just your fleet. And this is full asset management, right? So we now allow you to track work orders, service reminders, warranty information, all of this on unlimited equipment in your platform. And so, Tony, I've been having a lot more conversations rather than just with fleet managers, but also maintenance and facilities directors, things like that are looking for a tool that's going to let them keep track of other tools, things like their floor cleaners, their HVAC systems, their lawnmowers. There's a lot of equipment out there, and right now I'm hearing, yeah, we keep it in a spreadsheet. Well, what if we could bring that into the same platform and you can still be getting those same updates and alerts saying, hey, it's been 6 months, it's due to bring it in for another cleaning or maintenance. It's due to bring it in to, add oil to this tool here. You can set that up. You can keep track of the work orders. And just like the benefits we're talking about with fleets, I can now start keeping track of how much money am I spending on this? How many parts are we going out? And I can run all those kind of reports on all of my equipment, just like I do my vehicles as well. Right?
It's been one of our vision to make sure that's why it's not called Fleet Maintenance Finder. It's called Servicefinder. Really, anything that needs service, we're hoping that you're maintaining in this product. It should go beyond your buses that you have. We know it. There's other products that we know that we're going to be competing against. But what's so nice about what we're offering, it's just one company that has all these solutions. And we know that your operations team, your buildings and grounds, and some of you are responsible of doing that. You have different products to maintain all your other assets. Why not have one product that keeps the entire organization's asset, all of them, from vehicles to boilers to air conditioning, units that are outside. Maybe they need to get, they're leaking something, they need to get service. Keep track of that. At a certain point, it might be worth just get rid of it, maybe upgrade to new technology because it's costing you too much money to keep repairing it. But how would you know? And this is where our vision has always been to really create this product, why we named it Servicefinder over 10 years ago. But, we did have to throw, we slowed down the development for now. I think everybody knows, because we chose a great technology that Microsoft was pushing hard. It was called Silverlight. And then they woke up a few years ago. I'm like, yeah, we're going to discontinue it. And we just couldn't just turn on a dime. We really could not. But we finally have a replacement, and it's better than we could imagine. And now it's going to continue growing. So, but it's been our vision to always go beyond just maintaining the lug nuts and the dipsticks, right? Check the dipsticks on inside the engine. We always saw this is going to go beyond that. You could even track some of you have projectors inside your classrooms or your conference room, even though the bulb hour, right? How many hours this bulb's been used, and like, it's coming up. We gotta have some bulbs, in inventory, right?
We've had that, Tony. We've been mid-presentation, have a bulb blow on us, right in a school conference center, right? Look, your point is really valid here. That why not put all of this under one platform, right? Why utilize a bunch of different tools when there's one system where everything could be sorted? I have never met an operation that's told me they prefer working with more vendors rather than less. So that's why it's been really key for us to bring all of this additional functionality. Tony, I do want to kind of get into a few pieces that really talk about the outputs. We've been talking about how I can plug information in here for preventative maintenance and the work orders and costs and all these pieces, but it's so important to be able to output the information as well. Now, I do hear some hesitation. Some people tell me I don't need all the bells and whistles. I want a simple platform that just lets me store my info. But I can imagine so many use cases for things like our powerful dashboards we have now, right? So dashboards can tell you live information. It can tell you aggregate data. I can compare year over year. But at the most basic, I can imagine a TV with a dashboard just showing the current status of open work orders, right? Having a driver be able to walk in and say, yep, there's bus 9, looks like they're waiting on a part, should be on the schedule for tomorrow, right? That's information that can be really valuable to an operation. Of course, our dashboards can go way beyond just give you a list and giving you data. Again, you can imagine dashboards telling you, hey, what's my most expensive vehicle per mile? What's my highest fuel usage? How many transmission repairs have we done? How many work hours do I have per tech going on this week scheduled? You could really get granular. You can go very high level, whatever KPIs you're tracking at your operation. The nice thing is all of these dashboards are built to be customized. Of course, we give you a library. We give you ones to start with that we think most districts are going to need, but we also allow you to build your own really around what does your day-to-day look like. So dashboards are a powerful tool. We see a lot of clients using it. And again, we're learning from them. We're learning, what do you care about? What's important for you to track? If the data is in our system, if we're putting it in there, we're going to give you a way to output and be able to visualize it here, right? Tony, last piece on this that I'll talk about is not only the dashboards, but also the reporting. I've seen quite a few questions kind of popping up in the.
Before you do this, I think it's a great question. Some of our clients are on here have, we're calling the legacy Servicefinder. Many of you are still using it. I think we're probably about 50% of our clients are still using that system. So don't feel bad. It's like, oh man, why am I so behind? You're not behind. If you're using Roughfinder Pro, you are behind because 75% have moved to Plus. Just an FYI. But for the legacy Servicefinder, at least 50% of you are still using that one. So don't feel bad. All that data you have there comes right into the new system. So you're not going to lose anything. So great question, Jason.
Yep. No, absolutely. It's always a big concern, right? We see people using some older, some platforms that are getting to end of life and they're looking to try to move over and moving data from those other systems. We'll work with you to do it. We'll find ways to bring everything in that's important to you. But yeah, any of our clients on the legacy platform, we make it very, very easy to do a one-to-one conversion, bringing parts, work order history, all that. So dashboards, I talked about a little bit. Tony, like I said, just so many use cases that we've been hearing from our own clients for these dashboards. It's been a great experience. But reporting is a piece that we've really improved significantly on with Servicefinder. So in the legacy platform, we offered a library of reports, and we tried to do our best to kind of fit the needs. But we're hearing all the time that we need reports like this, or we need this kind of information, and it's just a whack-a-mole game. That's why with Servicefinder, just like with our Routefinder Plus platform, we've created a fully customizable report writer. So now our clients are not only able to take our existing reports, but they can customize them, edit them, or even build them right from scratch. We have a lot of our project managers working to say, what kind of report do you need? How does it need to look? Let us build it for you. And during your implementation, they're doing a lot of that work for them to customize it.
Great shout outs. They could use iPads and iPhones, and it's just incredible. So it's a great shout out. So we want to just want to let you know we are super pumped that it is that type of system, that it's mobile friendly. We spent a lot of time on it. Of course, as you know, our investment was large, and now obviously we're motivated to let everybody know about this product and get all of you moving this direction.
Yeah. When we hear reports, I imagine our question box here is going to start filling up. Can you make this kind of report? Can you make that kind of report? The answer for the most part should be yes. We can work with you. All of the data is in our system. It's just a matter of putting the pieces together, kind of building the report out the way you need. Things like invoicing, of course, any of the work orders you're doing, you can invoice. I'll be honest, when it comes to invoicing and billing, Tony, that could be a whole webinar in itself. There's so much
Oh my gosh.
capabilities.
Here's a good one too. Can a mechanic access or close a work order with a smartphone? I mean, all of that. I mean, isn't that
Absolutely.
cool? I mean, that's really the advantage of having, and I see a nice mounted, could be a touchpad. It could be one of those things that has a keyboard, because it is a little bit easier to do using a keyboard with a cover over it when you have, maybe you have some gloves on it. But there's just so much we are looking forward to. You talk about dashboards. Many of you in the routing side and dispatch side, you have these big flat screen TVs with different things popping up, and where the buses are located with the GPS and data just changing on the fly. I hope, and if you already have it, please tell us you're doing this already. I'm hoping you have a big, large screen someplace in your garage or garages, and has like a triage. Tony's working on this vehicle. Zach is on this right here. That is so cool. And maybe you can make a little bit of, gamify it. See who gets done quicker. How many? Can we get one extra vehicle done today? Just get a normal inspection, and Zach gets the Amazon. You can't buy too much with Amazon. Like, I was gonna say $10. Like, what can you buy with $10? But I guess you could get creative, right? Right, Zach?
There's a lot of things on Amazon. I'm sure you could find something for $10.
All right, maybe we'll make it $25.
A lot we covered today, pieces that we're really excited about, just summarizing that inspection workflow. And, one thing I want to stress is these inspections, just like everything in this platform, I probably use the word customizable 50 times at least. That's really a good way to define this platform. Our inspections can be customized. If you've got a paper form today that you want to digitize and bring into our tool, we could do it. But inspections, Tony, I want to stress, are not just for drivers. They can also be for technicians as well, right? A regular preventative maintenance, there may be a 20, 30, 50-point inspection that that technician needs to go through. They can just pull up their tablet and go through a checklist, pass, fail, anything that gets failed, that's going to report a defect. That's something that you got to put on the work order as well, right?
This is not staged, it's unstaged. Without a safety net here, I'm going to go on a limb here. Get this morning I had my car inspected. Here in New York State, every year we need to inspect our vehicles, and of course, brought my car in this morning 8 o'clock, and I was just going to wait for it. And I got a text on my phone that the inspection passed, the amount, and I had my laptop. I was doing so much stuff, and I think some of you guys here at the office realized, like, oh my gosh, Tony's like sending stupid amount of emails. Well, because I was just waiting around, and so I had my laptop open. But get this, I knew before the rep came to get me in there's like a break room, a lounge area for customers. I knew that they're ready. I already had my stuff. I put my coat on, and she comes over. Well, I was just gonna come and get you. Yep, I knew, because I got all that information. That's the type of things that dealers are doing already. We want to be at that level. This is the coolest thing we want to do here.
That's it. I see this
Right?
this question, Tony. We talked about it at the very beginning. What if I want to print my work order? What if I want to print my inspection? What if I want to print my checklist? Of course, with our reports, it's a simple right click, print, and you'll be able to run that out and go fill those filing cabinets up. So inspections, those workflows, really key. Obviously, just reiterating that asset management and how much you're able to do managing things beyond just your fleet. Really, hopefully you're thinking about, as you're looking at a tool like Servicefinder, well, who else should I be involving in that conversation? Because maybe it's more than just my garage, right? Maybe my facilities is going to be able to benefit from this as well.
Absolutely, that's right.
Tony, I think we're kind of coming right up on time here. Any last few questions here in the questions list that you see that you want to give a shout out to or respond while we've got a minute with them?
Yep, I think there's one last thing right here about if you don't have a self-service, will it save later? Coming to service with, of course, it will connect to Wi-Fi. There's a lot of options out there. If you are looking to a mobile, truly a mobile solution that does not have Wi-Fi or just not connected to your LAN, there's tons of options out there. We've introduced a brand new tablet now that it's called a single SIM, which means it is a SIM card inside our tablets for navigation that it will switch from one carrier to another based on which one is stronger. So there's so many options. Don't let that be the reason why you're not going this direction with this product. There's just really no excuse other than, you gotta find time to learn it, of course, and that's always a challenge. But really, low excuses at this point. Low friction to get on board with the system now.
Tony, my last thoughts, I want to make sure our attendees are taken away. There's so much available here. If we didn't touch on the piece that was important to you, I hope nobody leaves here saying, oh, I guess they don't do it. Follow up with us. We'd love to connect one-on-one and dig into the pieces that are important to you, because there's so many things we just didn't get a chance to talk about that the platform does today. Really, the biggest thing we're finding, why our clients that are buying it are loving it, is how we're really able to build and customize it to whatever your operation looks like. What do you do on a day-to-day? What do your technicians need? What do you need to keep track of? Let us build and customize the platform to kind of match that. Tony, any last piece as we wrap up here at the 12 o'clock hour?
I think, remember the legacy system that many of you already still have is using Silverlight as the platform. And so many of you had to stay with an older computer, older technology. Some of your IT team is saying, man, we gotta upgrade you. So this is finally now you get a state-of-the-art computer, Chrome if that's what you're used to using, or Microsoft Edge. Really, it's whatever, or Safari if you're on a Mac and iOS environment. This is where it's changing the game. So we've been waiting a long time for this. It's almost a year that's this product is going to turn 1 year old, but we've been working on this for years, so it's not an infant. We've been carrying it and nurturing it for many years. So looking forward to hearing from all of you how you think we did.
So for anyone that had to join late, we'll make sure this is a recorded webinar. We'll make sure to put this up on our YouTube channel for anyone to access. Tony, thanks so much for joining. Thank you to everybody that joined, and hopefully we gave you some better insight into service finding.
Awesome. Thank you, everybody. Have a great rest of the week.